Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're tuning in from. Hello again, viewers, listeners. Thank you so much for joining us. As you know, my name is Louis Baptista, and I'm here with BoSTEM here at United Wave, Massachusetts Bay, and we are here with another virtual opportunity. If you're joining us for another session, welcome back. If this is your first time, welcome as well. We are super excited to have you. As you know, these virtual sessions are a quick and easy way for those interested in STEM career pathways to understand what's out there. How can I see myself in those career pathways? And what are some of the challenges or experiences I should either look out for or be prepared for? So today we have a special guest coming from an exciting company that's new to the BoSTEM family called Exact Sciences. I don't want to say too much because our special guest who's here today is going to say all about the exciting work happening there and her role there. So without further ado, if you're listening in, please join me in welcoming our special guest today, Elizabeth Hetrick. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, how are you, Louis?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm really well. So excited to be here.
Likewise. We are so happy to have you here. So please, Elizabeth, let us know what's going on at Exact Sciences and what you do there.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Exact Sciences is a company based in Madison, Wisconsin. We're in the business of cancer diagnostics. We provide a variety of tests that range from early detection to treatment options and the determination of genetic predispositions. So basically, we help check to see if you have cancer early. We determine the best way to treat it, and we help you understand if your genetics might make you more likely to be diagnosed.
Awesome, really cool. So
Yeah,
definitely in the sciences world, focusing on the medical stuff. And
it
so
is.
can you say a little bit more about what you do there at Exact Sciences?
Sure. I am not at all in the sciences area. I I work as a information technology project manager, and specifically I actually manage a project management office. So I manage other project managers in the information technology sphere. We manage enterprise software, which is all the software that everyone else at the company uses to do their jobs. So payroll, accounting, contracting, invoicing, warehousing, whatever software is across the enterprise, we help support and do projects for.
Really cool. So, students, if you're listening in, I know that we said Exact Sciences is focused on cancer research, but as we're hearing from Elizabeth's perspective, there's also a really cool technology component to it. So, let's dive in, Elizabeth. I mean, this is really exciting. Not a lot of folks kind of think of a science company when they're walking into a IT career pathway. So, what was this like for you as a student? Did you know that you were going to be in this type of industry? What were some of your interests early on?
Sure. Good news for some of your students out there who might not know what they want to do with their careers. I did not at all know I wanted to be in STEM. I actually got an English major from the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire. And when I graduated with the English major, I got a job at a bank. And I was like, oh, finance is cool. This is fun. And then I looked
Yeah.
around, and every person I was working with had been working at the bank for 40 years. And I was 23 years old, and I was like, oh, no, 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 I'm out. And I actually was like, what's the scariest, most interesting thing I could challenge myself with? And I got a job in China. And I lived and worked in China for 2 years. Marshall University in West Virginia actually did their sister school program, and they sent me to China
So cool.
to, yeah, work on at their sister school. I lectured, and I also helped out sort of making sure the credits so that students from the U.S. who went to China and students from China who went to the US were had the same level of requirements and education. And when I got back, I got my MBA because I wanted to get into business. And my first job out of the MBA was contracts and procurement. And what do people buy these days? They buy software. So I just fell into IT project management and with my MBA, and it's absolutely wonderful. I can't imagine a better career.
Yeah, really cool. So students, as we're hearing, right, this is a totally normal experience to have, right? You're stumbling into something, you're saying, whoa, this isn't the right fit. I don't see myself here. Let's kind of pivot and transition. So Elizabeth, I mean, that's a great lesson to learn. What do you find to be like your favorite part of your typical day?
Best part of my day is that I get to do something new all the time. As a project manager, we engage with our customers, and our customers are all over the organization. So I might meet with the finance team this week and discuss how to roll out a global credit card program. I might meet with the HR team next week and discuss how we're going to implement a new recruiting tool. And I get to work with new teams and new products, and then we push the project through. We make sure that everything is organized, on track, and successful. And then it's a success. And we're excited. And I get to go do something new. And it's just absolutely wonderful to learn new things and meet new people constantly.
That's really great. So you have a very collaborative role, it sounds like. Is there ever a time or a moment where you're finding yourself to be behind a computer screen working solo? Or is that like not the norm for your type of job?
So what you find with project management is projects are successful when you set them up appropriately in the beginning. And so a lot of that behind the scenes work, understanding what the competitive landscape, so what other software is out there, what does the software look like, what features does it have across, the entire competitive landscape. A lot of that's done on your own. You're setting up what's the scope of the project, what are we looking to include or not include, what are our assumptions, what are our risks. We're working with the teams on this, but we're building a lot of that paperwork and a lot of that foundation ourselves. And then when we go talk to the teams and we say, okay, let's kick this off, talk to me. Are these the right assumptions? Are these the right risks? Is this the right scope? And we start confirming that and working toward it. But we need to have a base level understanding of our own. And that really is done sort of solo.
Definitely. Cool, cool. I mean, so I can already imagine so many different skills are being developed, fine-tuned. What do you kind of consider to be some really important skills for students to have who are interested in a pathway like this?
Project manager needs to be organized, almost obsessively organized, but also really needs to have really good people management skills. Project fails if your team doesn't trust you to be on the ball. And so the ability to build relationships and keep people organized is probably the two largest skills you need for project management. If you enjoy organization, if you like to keep your teams on track at school, if you like to have a project or a monthly, weekly planner and write down everything you have to do and when you'll have to do it, that's a lot of what I do, is sort of looking ahead and saying what needs to be done in what order to make sure we accomplish a task on time.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm sure some of our students are listening and they're saying, "Oh, that sounds like group project work," and it's totally relevant. I mean,
Right?
it just goes to show you how it translates students. So, I know working with different teams and different people is often a skill in itself, but as we're hearing, right, it can actually be a really rewarding type of career if you see yourself in the project management or even in the IT space. So, so exciting. So, Elizabeth, I mean, you are a woman working in the information technologies field, and it's, stereotypically known to be a male-dominated industry. What are some of the challenges you find yourself navigating, and how do you find supports to kind of help you be successful in those challenging moments?
That's a great question, Lewis. And I think some of the challenges that I do face just as a female in the IT world is that a lot of my coworkers and colleagues are male. And a lot of times I do have to push back a little bit, perhaps. If I raise an idea and maybe someone stereotypically repeats that idea and people say, oh, that's a good idea. I tend to be a very sort of equality focused person. And so if I said it, or even if another female said it, I have a tendency to say, well, Mary said that first, but I like how you built on that, and maybe call that out a little bit and try to not be too confrontational because you don't want arguments in the workforce, but make sure to get that recognition. Something else I think I always feel like I need to know more in terms of certifications, other things, or people do question whether or not I know what I'm talking about. Maybe also because I have an English major, right? So people are like, well, you didn't come from computer science. Are you sure you know what you're talking about? But no joke, my hidden skill is the ability to ask the obvious question because I may not know the answer. And sometimes just by asking that question and being that person who doesn't know everything in the room, I'm able to have them start to think, oh, did we forget something? Did we miss something? And allowing myself that space to not know everything can actually be a superpower.
I love that. Say that often here in the Boston world that we kind of term it as a growth mindset. It's definitely a strength. I would agree with you there. Kind of resonates with your experience, right? Figuring out like this doesn't really fit with me and I don't really know. No, we need to kind of pivot and move to a different direction. Totally cool. I love that this is shaping up nicely. So, Elizabeth, I mean, I'm thinking about some of our students who consider themselves as like STEM scholars, right? They know that they
Mhm.
love the STEM fields. They see themselves at a science company in the lab. What kind of advice would you give, some of those students who are just sure? Where should they kind of focus their energy, their attention right now as they prepare?
Yeah, absolutely. If we have people who know they want a STEM career and they're looking at a company like Exact Sciences, we encourage you to contact us. Our recruiters love to, we have internships and we love to talk about the company. So, we do tours, we do sort of informational programs. We have any number of job openings in the lab at at the time, all the time. So feel free to stop by our career site. But if you're also thinking about I want to be in the lab, but project management sounds pretty cool too. We have lab project managers. One of the coolest areas of any organization, I think, is lean process improvement. And that's where you take a process and you look at it as a whole and you say, where can we improve it? Where can we take out, steps that don't make sense? Where can we reduce the time? And that is done so often in the lab. And some of the coolest innovation that you see comes from people who know the science, know the process, but also want to run projects.
I love that it adds that extra layer of excitement to the work. Oh my goodness. Elizabeth, it has been such a pleasure getting the chance to chat with you and learning about your work at Exact Sciences. I mean, I just wanted to kind of recognize we are nearing our end here, but do you have any last words or any piece of advice for our students who might be listening?
No, just be curious. I think that never feel like you're stuck anywhere. You're able to pivot, you're able to change. I did not start out in STEM and I found myself here and I love it. And so always feel like you can try something new.
Absolutely. Thank you so, so much for taking the time to join us. Thank you, students and educators, for listening in on these sessions. We really are grateful for having you. And of course, grateful for our wonderful volunteers like Elizabeth today. So again, if you want to continue this conversation offline, please reach out to your educators. They have my contact information. I'm happy to loop folks up together so we can continue this conversation offline to kind of explore more about exact sciences, project management, information technology, all that exciting. But we are here at the end of our session. And if you are looking for more information or more opportunities to connect with other volunteers, plenty to come in the future. So stay connected, and I'll see you at the next one. Thanks so much for joining us, Elizabeth.
Thank you.